Hey, what's up everybody? I decided to do a video diary, my time here while I'm in Peru, but I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I figured that I post at least one about every month that I'm here on Facebook to keep my friends and family posted. I've been kind of procrastinating on this one because I've been here now for like a month and a half, and for those that don't know, I'm here on an exchange program studying abroad in Lima, Peru. Um, so yeah, everything's been good so far. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. I wrote some things down to talk about because I've done a lot here already within the first month. But like I said, everything's been good. Probably the worst experience though was like my first week here. I was kind of sick. I took some medicine that I've never really taken before, and I got a really bad allergic reaction to it, to where I was like, I pretty much look like Will Smith on Hitch. So just word of advice: if you about to travel to a foreign country, and your doctor gives you some medicine for whatever, to prevent whatever travel sickness or altitude sickness, just take it before you get here, because you might not know how the healthcare is wherever you're going. But like I said, overall everything's been good. Roommates are great. I live with 5 French people, 1 Slovakian, and one guy from Austria. So I can't really complain about them. They're really cool, really chill people. So yeah, basically the first thing I could talk about is how much bigger my world has gotten. Where before this experience, or before I started this experience, when looking at a map, I would see countries on the map, but it really wouldn't resonate with me. It'd just be like a space on the map per se. So now that I'm here, I made friends from all over the world, from other international students. I think it's like 150 of us in my program, I believe so. And so I met people from like Finland, people all over Europe, South Africa, people from Central and South America, Colombia. So it's been great. So now when I look at a map, it's a little bit more realistic now that I've met people from these countries, and they told me stories, things about their culture. Definitely makes me appreciate my own. In some cases helps me see how some of the things in my own culture is a little different, things that I might not like about my own culture. So yeah, tons of friends. My world's gotten bigger. Definitely feel like my bubble has been popped, because before I got here, I thought I was a pretty cultured guy, but I met people that speak like kids my age that speak like 4 or 5 languages already and been to at least 5 or more countries. So I got some catching up to do, I guess. But it's cool. Everything's cool. Peruvian people in general are nice. I made some local friends from Peru. That's pretty cool. And then just some thoughts in pertaining to like where I come from and our culture back home is one thing I noticed, and I'm pretty sure this is not just with me, I'm pretty sure it's with a lot of other Americans, but throughout school and talking to like people from Europe, I realized how much they study other people's cultures in other countries, especially ours. Well, studying international business here, one thing I realized is how much America has their hand in pretty much everything, so I can see why. But how much we don't really study about them. Like, we don't really study much about Europe, Central and South America, maybe if you take a Spanish class. And I kind of feel like that stems from a lot of issues that we have in America that are coming about, which have always been around, but have becoming more evident with this current political season. And a lot of it, like the hate from different people, I believe a lot of it comes from ignorance. And definitely being here and learning more about other people's culture helps me to appreciate it more. Like, I'm reading this book about like meditation by Alan Watts, Still the Mind, and basically he's trying to say that when he was speaking about religion and other people's culture, that everybody's like doing a dance, and you can either choose to be in awe and acknowledge it, and even dance with them sometimes, or just keep on moving, don't even acknowledge it, maybe because you don't like the way that they're dancing. But you should always respect it. So being here has definitely taught me how to respect other people's culture. So I definitely feel like maybe throughout middle school and high school, I think it should be more mandatory that we take classes on subcultures from Christianity, Islam, Muslim, other subcultures, because you know there's a lot of different people in America, and I feel like we know little about each other, a little about where the people we live with come from. And I feel like that if we knew more about each other, we wouldn't have all this hatred or like, you know, cold shoulder towards each other if we knew a little bit more about each other. So definitely recommend something that I've tried to do since I've gotten to college is hang out with people different than me and expand my bubble, challenge my beliefs, and hanging out with people that are a lot different than me and making up my own opinions on, I guess, how people live our life. Because we're all human. We all have our abilities to make judgments. And then that, like I said, foreigners know so much about us and we know so little about, I mean, I met some people here that know more about American politics, or if not as much as I know about American politics, and it's kind of amazing. They're very in tune with what's going on in America, and I know little, or like who their president even is. Like, I don't know the president of a lot of countries that I have friends that they come from those countries. So definitely I would say living in the States, I kind of felt like I've been in a bubble. So the fact that somebody wants to build a wall and further put us in a bubble is kind of far-fetched, but whatever. But definitely feel like I've been in a bubble, and definitely coming here has kind of expanded or popped my bubble to make me realize like how big this world actually is. Like, the world, to me, I can't explain it enough, has gotten so much bigger than me. Good and bad. For example, like an incident that made me kind of put things in perspective was when they had that attack in Brussels. And when I started thinking about like terrorism, like I remember 9/11, but I was so small, but it didn't really make me feel any type of way to a certain degree because I didn't know anybody that was personally affected by it. But talking to people here from France or people from Europe that had family members or friends that were affected by those events, that made me really put things in perspective about how big of an issue terrorism is globally. Let's see, the next thing is, so far since I've been here, my most major trip that I took was to Ayacucho for Semana Santa, or Semana for Semana Santa. I don't think it's Santa. Hold on, I'm gonna edit this out. Yeah, Semana Santa. I don't know why I thought I was pronouncing that wrong, but pretty much Easter. And pretty much what I did there was, it was like a 3 or 4 day trip because I didn't have school, where pretty much I witnessed like these Catholic ceremonies for the resurrection, death, crucifixion and resurrection of Christ on Friday. There's pictures, I put pictures on Facebook, it's just my trip to Ayacucho, but I got to see a ceremony where they had like this huge float of the Virgin Mary with tears, and everybody was praying in unison. That was very bone chilling to kind of hear that, everybody praying in unison. And then further off into the distance they had like another float with a illuminated casket of Jesus, and I've never really witnessed anything like that. I mean, there's a good bit of Catholics in the US, but I've never seen nothing like this. I have a video of it, but I need to trim it, make it shorter to post it on Facebook. But anyway, and then on Saturday, it was pretty much a huge party in the street. I've never seen people party so hard for Jesus. It was ridiculous. I had a fun time. I got to play with a band, dancing, human pyramids. It was crazy. It was a good time. And we were supposed to run with bulls. I actually got this shirt from there, but apparently the city didn't get the okay to have the bulls, so we kind of missed out on that. But anyway, the the people here are so lively, so they didn't really care. They just kept partying. And then Saturday they actually had like a ceremony, and like I think it was like 4 in the morning. It was really early, where they had this even huge, this float. It was like ridiculously huge, and it was illuminated, and it was to symbolize the resurrection of Christ on Easter Sunday morning. So in terms of like what I was speaking about before, seeing that definitely made me respect and appreciate that Catholic religion. I mean, I didn't really know too much about it or like some of the traditions that they have, but to see that was pretty awesome, pretty cool. Let's see what else. Some cultural differences. One thing I noticed here is that people are okay with being closer to each other here. So more of a collective society where people are okay with being close to each other, helping each other out. And one thing that I really noticed is here, the public transportation is like crazy here. It's like there's all types of, you got like city buses, and you have like these little Kumbis, which is like a small minivan, and you'll see like 30 people packed in one of them. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they do it. Then of course you got like taxis, and then you have like a metro system, like a bus that goes up and down Lima. And I would definitely say most of the Peruvians that I met here told me you can't officially say you've been to Peru until you've been like packed on one of these buses. And I have, unfortunately, to get to school. And which is another thing, since living in the city now, it's kind of different to take public transportation to school, whereas back home I just had a car. Or no, living on campus I just walked to class. But yeah, they're okay with being close to each other, whereas like I've been to New York and on subways, like even though you're like packed in there with each other sometimes, or like around 5 o'clock when everybody gets off work, like you can tell people don't like it. But here it's just like normal to them. They're like okay with it. Sorry, that was my speaker turning off. Other cultural differences, can't really think any off the top of my head right now, but definitely just the people are more warmer and welcoming here. School, which is what I'm here for, school is pretty good. Only difference is teachers show up late. They're on what's called Peruvian time. Let me turn my music off. On Peruvian time, so that means people show up like 15 minutes late, or teachers can show up 15 minutes late, or you can show up 15 minutes late and you're not counted tardy or absent. Most of the time you're not counted like tardy till some cases like 30 minutes after. The classes are a little bit slower because they're taught in English, and normally it's the teacher's second language. And I take classes, these English classes, with locals. So something that's sometimes frustrating is like with group projects, even though they're in a class with English speaking class, they don't really speak English. So sometimes it's a language barrier when there's like group work to be done. All the classes are more discussion based. You just do the readings and you're more discussing based because the classes are smaller. And when I tell like locals here how like some of my classes would have like 200 people back home, they can't even believe that. So being that it's discussion based, it's really refreshing to hear other people's opinions on how they do things in their country, or perspectives of life, or whatever the topic may be in class that we're talking about. That's very interesting. Some things that I've learned about myself, I could definitely say, like, you don't realize how capable you are of doing things until you're like put in certain environments or situations. Like, I mean, I thought my Spanish was decent. Honestly, I thought it sucked. But anyway, a lot of the locals here say that it's pretty good to be a gringo, is what they call people from America. But they said it's pretty good, even though my mom is from Panama, but they think it's good. I didn't realize like how I would adapt so well to this environment, like getting around, talking to people, just simple tasks like going to the grocery store. At first, the first week was kind of difficult, just trying to figure out where everything was. All of a sudden, like having to talk in Spanish like right off the top of the head, and just processing so much information. Like the first week, 2 weeks, could definitely say was really exhausting. And then the taxis, they don't use meters here. You have to negotiate, which can kind of be frustrating sometimes, because sometimes being that they know you're a foreigner, they try to charge you more. So sometimes it can take like 10 to 15 minutes to find a taxi to get wherever you're going. And as you can hear, I have a balcony. They honk the horn here nonstop. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that kind of sums up everything. Let me see. Some things that I probably don't like would be, let's see, grocery store. You know how like back home I'd go to the grocery store like just to like relax. You know how you just go to like a Walmart at night and just pick up a few things and chill out, go home, whatever. But here they have like these ambassadors who sell like certain products where they try to get you to buy one product over the other, and it's kind of annoying going down each aisle and people are constantly like, oh, buy this, and like I had to keep selling them like no. And definitely Peruvian people are about their hustle. There's always people in the street selling candy, snacks, little kids. It's definitely different from North Carolina, even though it's a city. Let's see what else. I mean, that's about it. Like I said, everything is good here. I know sometimes for me it's kind of depressing though, getting on Facebook and other social media platforms and see all the things going on in America. Like I know within my first month here, I found out that a police officer shot an unarmed man right in my own hometown. That was kind of shocking. But hey, I'm in Peru. Nice weather, nice people, good drinks. Their national drink here is pisco. Try the pisco sour. It has like raw egg and their traditional drink pisco and some other things in it. It was okay. Kind of messed up my stomach. I don't know. I didn't really dig the raw egg, so I've only tried that once. Still have a lot. Food here is awesome. I say my favorite dish right now is arroz porto, which is kind of like rice mixed with Chinese noodles. It's called chifa, and chifa is pretty much like Chinese food mixed with Peruvian traditional food. I probably have a few pictures on Facebook, but yeah, overall so far everything's great. I found a gym here, found the barbershop, even though I need to go. It's been like 2 weeks since I went. Found the barbershop, found the gym, so my life has got a whole lot better once I found those two things. Everything's pretty cheap here. Currency is about 3.5 difference, so for every dollar you just like US dollar multiply it by 3.5, and that's pretty much what it's worth here in Peru. Which made me realize is through this whole experience is how it's not that difficult to travel. The most expensive thing sometimes is just buying a plane ticket. Being that either if you're from Europe or the US, your currency is valued pretty high in most countries. So definitely thinking about that in terms of other future travels. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This weekend I'm about to go to Iquitos, which is kind of like the desert, and I'm gonna ride like sand buggies and go sandboarding, and it should be a fun time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to everybody back home, my mom, my brother, my dad, all my friends. Miss all you guys. Before I know it, I'll probably be back home, but for now I'll probably post another video like a month from now just to sum up that month. But everything's good, no complaints. If I had any complaints, I'm glad to have those issues and problems because they're a lot different. You know, helps me learn more about myself and what I'm willing to tolerate. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Everything's good. So yeah, that's it. Peace out.